Hello and welcome to the Gooners in USA podcast. Today we have Lee Judges and we have Kevin Campbell and some weird guy who last night was shirtless, so I stopped camming with him. His name is Mike. How are you?
I am doing well. Have we changed our name back to Gooners in USA, or did you? Do you have?
Is that what I said?
Do you have Alzheimer's disease and you only remember things from 3 years ago? Not that there's anything wrong with it.
Right before we went live, you said you say hi and then hand it over to me, so I wanted to do the introduction.
Well, it should be like every week. So we are having a fun pod today. Not that the last few haven't been fun, but you've kind of had serious Mike and Andy because Lee Dixon, Perry Groves, Michael Thomas. I mean, dream come true. It's May. It's 89 season, and why not keep that going with someone who gave Steve Bold a little bit of a hard time in the fall of 1988, a workout he'd never forget, as he recounts on the 89 movie. But Super Kev, welcome back. Welcome back to the pod.
Good to be back. Thanks for having me on, man.
The last time you joined us, it's a pleasure for us to have you. The last time you joined us was our season preview show for this season, and I listened back to that. Do you remember what your prediction was? It was amazing.
Go on, you tell me.
You said Arsenal going to start out shit, and then Emery will get sacked by Thanksgiving, which is weird because you don't even celebrate Thanksgiving, but you still said that. And then you said Arteta will come in, start turning the team around, and then we're going to have this pandemic that takes over. I mean, it was like uncanny that Kevstradamus, I believe the name is.
Listen, the pandemic was supposed to be at Arsenal, not around the world. So,
yeah, you got that part wrong, but
I know.
You were pretty close. We also have back on the pod for his 146th appearance, tops by far, and he's not breaking any ducks today. But Lee Judges, who fancies himself, I think, a little bit John Travolta.
A Scientologist?
Not that part, the dancer part. I mean, Andy, Kev, did you realize that Lee recently submitted an audition for Strictly Come Dancing?
I've seen some of the Instagram videos that Lee has been posting recently. And
well, I couldn't get it to screen share, but if you go to our Twitter right now, you'll see the lovely video of Lee's audition for Strictly Come Dancing. I mean, it's going to be amazing. Get that thing viral.
Has he got his finger out, Mike?
Retweet it. Oh, he's got it.
Has he got his finger out?
I don't know where that thing's been. So no, not he's
listen.
He's spanking something. He's doing something. It's great.
I've learned my lesson. What I've done was. I'll tell you what, it's an absolute con night. I don't know why I come on these podcasts. I really don't like them. But I've done Ryan's one, and I'm 40. I'm about 30 points in front. I had a real challenge with Danny, from the Burkamp Wonderland.
Yeah,
but I've seen him off. In a round.
I saw the end of that.
And I'm giving it the old. You know what I mean? I've done the old Alan Page, because I've won it. And I keep giving it all of that. I've done it. And then the last round, I think it was Mike. He's bottom of the league. He hasn't got a question right all night. He bangs in his Joker. Well, the Joker's worth about 50 points to him.
Yeah, triple,
like 5 to everybody else.
Yeah.
And he comes out and he only nicks me by one, doesn't he? Like, I mean, absolute robbery.
He's still got it.
They've set you up, Lee. They've set you up, mate.
Well, Lee
set
is a
me
true
up like
fan.
a chili. I'll tell you that.
Danny, the GFP, is saying we was robbed.
Hey, Danny, tell him. It was an absolute.
He's got to bring up Waz too for that.
Yeah, and then he's also someone from the Burkamp Wonderland is saying that Mike, you look like a fat or a chubby Bruce Willis.
What, you just had to add fat into there? That's not what it said.
No, it says fat.
Look,
that fat one looks like a chubby Bruce Willis.
Oh, okay. I couldn't see that. All right, let's get it back. I mean, because we need to also point out that Lee is a real family man. And the reason I know that is because in December, he took a real liking to a member of my family.
Oh.
It's why do I come on here? Why do I come on here?
The courts are out of service.
There's the finger.
That's before the lager.
Keep that away. Keep that. Yeah, I was going to say that's what happens when you have more than a half pint. Actually,
that's the wrong finger as well.
Yeah.
Well, I've learned. Let's see one more family person picture, because this is what happens when you have more than a. I can't get it up.
Oh, thank God for that.
You're lucky. We don't have the hug picture. Well,
classic in the Feinberg household. Mike can't get it up.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
We've seen enough.
That was proof I
enough. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you.
Yeah, we've seen enough. We saw a little bit of that.
This is bad. Okay. All right. So let's have a quick chat before we get to the get to the game for today. In addition to being a prolific goal merchant for Arsenal, Everton, and a few more clubs, in addition to watching your son Tyrese follow in your footsteps with Stoke City, doing charity work around the world, you've added a new title to your CV, which is YouTube producer. Been loving your new series, your Who Are You series on YouTube, where you, Kevin Campbell, flip the script, and instead of being interviewed, you start interviewing football supporters from all over the world. And we watched the Sophie episode, the Amanda episode, the 4-hour episode, and you started off with your mate Lee Judges. It's a great idea, but tell us how you came up with the idea, why you're doing it, how it's gone for you.
Yeah, no, I just think, look, I've been interviewed by so many people. I've been embraced, on social media by the likes of yourselves. And there's so many different podcasts of Gooners all over the world who I've actually spoken to. But, the one thing, being an ex-player like myself and who's interested in connecting the fan base, we spoke about that in pre-season, didn't we, about the fan base all coming together. So this is my way of trying to connect fan bases, the Arsenal fan base specifically. But, I'm connected to quite a few clubs and stuff like that anyway. So I thought, why don't I do a series? I've got the time in lockdown, in between my interviews and stuff that I'm actually doing. Why not start recording the guys? Because I can get the guys, because they're home usually. Get them for 40 minutes, 30 minutes or whatever, and ask them about their time. Because the great thing about what we do, guys, is everybody's experience is different. We all could watch the same game, but all of our experiences will be different. So, beware, guys. I'm Andy and Mike. You'll be getting your call about who are you, because I need you boys on.
I'd love it.
I can't wait to watch Andy's, because he is not comfortable being the interviewee. I think I might be okay with it, but I think Andy's is the one I can't wait to see.
I guarantee you he'll be fine.
I'll do it, and I'll love it.
Big time.
If called to action, you will serve. The best part of Lee's first episode, which I think was the first one you did overall, is the story about his dad and him going to Ipswich away. As I recall it, Lee, your dad didn't want to be messing around with all the crap on the terraces, and so he went to sit in the seated areas and finish the story out for it.
Yeah, it's the thing is, with Kevin was reminiscing like on an AFTV show, and that's where it's like come from. And like Kevin just said to me, I'm do a story about your dad, and what happened was we went to Ipswich, and back in the day, it was there was a little bit of soccer violence, as they say, going about. So we gets up there, and my dad just turns around and says, "I'll tell you what, I'm not going to go in the stands with you lot. I'm going to go in the seats, pay a little bit extra. I know I'm safe there. There's going to be no trouble." And so we said, "Right, go on then, Dad, off you go, like, and we'll see you by the car on the way back." We gets into the ground, and honestly, it's 5 minutes gone in the game. It's all kicked off on the left-hand side of us, up where the seats are, like where the Arsenal fans, because you used to have a section of seats for the away fans.
That's right.
And honestly, for the next 85 minutes, it was just like, spontaneous fighting. And we was just saying, well, I hope your dad's not involved in that, So I said, he'd be all right, So we gets back to the car, and we're waiting there 10, 20, 30 minutes, and we're starting to get a little bit worried. Where is he, nothing's happened to him. He's, all of a sudden, he had a little bit of hair back in those days. He's come staggering down. All his hair sticking up and all that. I said, "What's happened?" He said, "What's happened? What's happened? I've just had to fight for my life for 85 minutes. You know what I mean? Everything was kicking off left, right, and centre. I said I'll throw more punches than Muhammad Ali and things like that." So he's got in the car. And as we got in the car, we're laughing and he's going, it's not funny, you know what I mean? He was like fighting for his life. So he said, "This is the last time I ever come to an away game. I'm not coming no more." Like, yeah. And so that day, he never did. He never, he never went to another away game. He still went to Highbury and things like that, and we'd meet up with him because he was always my dad for whatever reason. I never understand. It was always a clock in man, always in the clock end. And in those days, had no roof. No roof. Yeah. But that's where he went, and I couldn't wait to get into the North Bank. But and another thing, he would never go in the North Bank. He said, "No, I'm never ever going to go in there." Man. Yeah, it was that was his way, So we'd go down to the Arsenal, we'd go in the North Bank, and he'd go in the clock end when when it was like pouring rain. I could not work it out why people wanted to stay in that end, but they did, So
I was always North Bank. I'm hearing from our staff, our research team, that we have a picture of your dad from right after that game.
What's it gonna be like? Yeah.
Oh, jeez, I can't wait for this.
He doesn't look. Did that come up?
No. Thank you.
All right, sorry, little clip there. All right, so
also
let's
another
get to
thing
the game.
The Feinberg quite often.
It's the American network, isn't it? So.
Oh, did that come
We're all
up?
missing the FA Cup. We all miss those football phrases that caused me to ring the bell on the podcast. I'm not going to do it because otherwise it would be just bell after bell today. But those exclusively English phrases that seem to ooze out of pundits' mouth during football games and suck us Yanks into submission. So I've always been a big fan. But being English, do the 2.5 of you that are English, does it mean anything to you? Is there anything unusual or charming? I mean, the phrases we're talking about, 6s and 7s and flatters to deceive and all of those. Is it just normal English, or are you like, does it stand out as being anything special?
I think being an Englishman who lives in America, not particularly in sports, but there's just other words or phrases that we'll say. Now that my mom lives here, if we're having a conversation, people will say, "What does that mean?" I don't know about you two, but from a football perspective, I don't really get that much. It's other phrases that we say.
Like bell end?
I was going to say most of them are swear words, which is funny. But like bits and bobs, people don't say that over here.
No, see, we had a list of like 70 or 80 of these, and I had to kind of just narrow it down to 32. And we're going to have a competition today because we haven't had enough live sporting competition. And so we have to inject that into our day. So we've got a kind of an FA Cup / March Madness bracket format, randomly selected these phrases, put them up against each other, and we're going to be the judge, jury, and executioner, or the Judge Campbell and Andy Kushner. So the four of us are going to put in our votes for who we want to win. Could be based on any rationale whatsoever. And if we can't decide it, if the four of us are deadlocked, it's going to go to you, the chat room, to break the draw, not the tie, the draw. So let's get started with the first round. Any questions on how it works?
Yeah. Can I just say something? I've got you just mentioned Bellend, right? It's a true story. This is right. Manchester City we're going to name a stand, right? Wanted to name a new stand, so they asked all the fans, right, to name what they should name this stand, like, you know what I mean? So all the other fans from all the other fan base said, "Well, yeah, name it after one of your legends, Colin Bell." So they said, "Call it the Bell End." And they had to put that. It's a true story, and they had to stop the competition because it was 97% Bell End. The name of the stand. You know what I mean?
Never put it.
That is the humour of the football fan, So.
Yeah. Oh, you can't. Yeah, you can't send that kind of stuff out to the general public.
No.
Never put it to a public vote to put in the.
Never.
Names. What was that Bodie McBoatface? Do you guys remember that?
It sounds familiar.
This company built like this $100 million boat, and they said, we need help naming it. So they said five best names. We're going to put it up for a vote. And someone entered Bodie McBoatface, and that won, and they actually put it on the boat. But you can tell that they're not happy with that.
Public votes never win, mate. You never win that way.
No, you certainly don't. I mean, Public Vote almost got us to what was it 3 years ago, the best football podcast. I mean that just shows you that there's no possible way you can trust the public. So we finished second that year. All right, so let's go. We've got the first competition. We got through 31 of these, so we'll make it quick. Handbags versus gutted. This is a tough one for me. We're going to start with you, Lee. Are you a handbags guy or a gutted guy?
Yeah, definitely. I have to say, I like that one when there's a little bit of a fight going on and everybody goes, it's handbags, and sometimes it's not. But he's always said so. For me, handbags gets it all day long for me.
We talked to Michael Thomas a couple of weeks ago about the handbags against United, which some people think is a little more handbaggy or a little less handbaggy. But I got to give that a nod to handbags as well. Kev,
handbags with. Listen, I was thinking of the United situation as well at Old Trafford. Listen, there was a couple of big handbags, but that's life. Right. Some bigger handbags than normal, but that was all right. Yeah. Look, we lost points on it as well, by the way, didn't we? You know what I mean? But handbags win it for me.
I'll tell you what.
You say the Martin Keown handbags was better handbags than the...
91 one was... No, I think it was in 90 when it was 1991 season. That was the one. That was a great... I'll tell you what, also, if you have a look at that Brian McClare, he was a little snide in that, I'll tell you, kicking people when he's on the floor, so...
they had it in.
I love the way the Arsenal polled in that day. That was a big thing, that, you know what I mean? So, handbags.
How dare he put his throat into Michael Thomas's hands? I mean, that was the rudeness.
I thought that showed the team was ready.
That was beyond the pale. So, All right, Andy.
Oh, it's unanimous. Handbags.
Okay, it is unanimous. It seems pretty unanimous of those who have answered in the chat, but so we're gonna go 5-0 on this one. Handbags advances to the next round. Let's see if this works properly. All right, the next matchup: Lost the Plot against Not Enough Purchase. This is an interesting one. Again, we're gonna try to shift the order around a little bit. So Kevin, you're first on this one.
It's got to be Lost the Plot. It has to be Lost the Plot.
When you more often.
Listen, it's quite interesting when you've actually seen somebody lose the plot on a football pitch. That for the opposition fan is brilliant, isn't it? When you see the opposition lose it. So that for me is definitely the winner. Lost the plot. I know George Graham lost the plot in the dressing room loads of times. Don't worry about that.
And if you have any insight on, I mean, for some of these it's obvious, but if you have any insight on where these came from, why, obviously we could look it up in various colloquial dictionaries, but I mean, if you have any feedback on that, let us know. Andy, what are you thinking about?
I mean, Kev hit it on the head. It has to be Lost the Plot.
Okay, so far the chat is pretty high on that. The only reason I love Not Enough Purchase is just because it is so not anything anyone would ever say over here in the sport world or anything else. I mean, to me, purchase just means buying something.
Yeah, that's built for Arsenal, Mike. That's the problem.
Yeah, not enough purchases.
Not enough purchase. You need an S on it. That's what it needs.
Yeah. That would be a little different. But, the whole purchase, I mean, Lost the Plot is good. It describes something that's fun, but Not Enough Purchase is so just British to me that that's what I find to be attractive about it. So I'm going to buck the trend. I know it won't win this for my NEP boys, but I'm going with Not Enough Purchase. Lee, what are your thoughts?
It's got to be Lost the Plot, and it perfectly summed up a couple of days ago when watching the Manchester City QPR game when Joey Barton lost the plot. It was absolutely brilliant. I can watch that. I can watch it and watch it and watch it. And that is the reason why Lost the Plot has to win this, because it just sums it all up completely, so.
like Manchester City needed any more help.
Yeah. And he totally lost it, and that's where it comes from, and that's what it means. And great.
All right. Well, next we got Speed Merchant against Little Pockets of Space. We'll start
that's
with
a
Andy.
tougher one.
Oh yeah, this is a tough one. I can only think Speed Merchant, Theo Walcott, and that's the only thing that, like, attribute-wise ever seemed to hit with him was he had a ton of speed.
Does Speed Merchant mean essentially that's the only thing he's got? Or does it just mean that he's fast?
No, I don't think so.
Just means that he's fast.
Fast. Yeah, but it's weird that we just can't say this player is fast. We have to come up with Speed Merchant, so I'm going to go with that.
Because let me just add to that. Speed Merchant actually came from non-league.
Oh, really?
Because in the non-league, you don't really do. There's no scouting, is there, or anything like that? So they probably watched the player play before, and then he say, "Oi, Lee, you got to watch him. He's a speed merchant." You know what I mean? So that puts it in. That puts it in your head that he's quick. So you got to give yourself a bit more room defensively. You know what I mean? That's all that is.
Okay, so I take it you're going with Speed Merchant as well. Were you a Speed Merchant, or were you better at finding little pockets of space? What was your attacking strategy?
No, I had to be both. I had to be both. When I played with Alan Smith, I had to be the Speed Merchant over the top. And then when I played with Ian Wright, I had to find the little pockets of space, although I still could be the Speed Merchant, but I had to get hold of the ball. So you had to find the little pockets of space. So the good thing about Arsenal, it taught me how to do both. But I'm going to go with Speed Merchant because they tend to be exciting. They're exciting.
Okay. I am going to take little pockets of space just because anything pockets, again, you're just not going to be my big thing is if you're watching basketball or hockey or American football, are they going to talk about pockets of space? No, they're not. They're probably not going to say Speed Merchant either, but they could maybe. So I'm going with little pockets of space. It's 2-1.
Mike, can I disagree with you on that?
You can.
I disagree with you on that regarding the pockets of space. Because if a defense plays zone, that means there's little pockets of space in between them and in front of them. That's what Julian Edelman, he's the best at it, getting into those little pockets of space. There you go.
I'm not saying there aren't pockets of space. I'm saying no one's going to say pockets of space when they're like punditry on the game. So
yeah, but this is about England, not about America. So get it right.
I know.
Mike.
It's the fact that they won't say that here and they say it all the time over there that endears me to it. But, look, we all have our own reasons.
Look, Kevin made you look a real tit. Just put the vote in.
Okay. Thank you.
Judges, have you gone for Speed Merchant, Lee?
No, I'm going to go for little pockets of space.
There you go.
I love it. You know what I mean? Listen, I was never a Speed Merchant. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we know that.
Especially going to the bar, I used to like to find a pocket of space by the bar.
Exactly.
But I just think with the Speed Merchants, Kevin's right what he's saying. It was more a lot for non-league because non-league, it's certain players got to where they were because of their pace. You know what I mean? If they didn't have that pace, they wouldn't be in where they were. But with pockets of space, you had to find them. And I think the little artistic players always very, very good at finding little pockets of space, i.e. the likes of Paul Merson, Teddy Sheringham, those sort of players. So
what's interesting about Lee saying pockets of space is I've studied the photo of Lee and Mike's daughter, and there's no little pockets of space whatsoever.
That's not nice.
No, that's not nice.
I'm talking him over to some other space after that picture was taken.
It looks like Speed Merchant is the chat room with Fredo, Mike Hernandez, Steve, Rob, Danny. Yeah, I think that's enough, Mike.
Seems pretty unanimously. We gave it our best. We gave it a go.
We got two out of it, but we've lost.
It's a 3-2, isn't it? Is it a 3-2?
There's
only four of us, Kev. There's only four of us.
No, but there's the
chat.
Yeah, so the chat comes
only
in
3. Yes, 3-2.
So they win in extra time. Yeah.
All right. The next one.
Oh, this is a good one.
Pulling up trees, which I believe, was said in your Who Are You discussion, something about someone pulling up trees at Millwall. I think George Graham was pulling up trees at Millwall. Something.
You weren't really pulling up trees.
Weren't pulling up
trees.
trees.
Yeah, you weren't pulling up trees.
That's what you said. He weren't. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Or as we would say, wasn't. Pulling up trees versus wage packet. This is kind of I think, an interesting one. And we're going to start with me because I'm the only one that hasn't gone yet first. I've always been a fan of wage packet. I mean, I said early on in our podcast that I think we had a show called Wage Packet because it was just being talked about so much. And I just imagined this little folder. And apparently there's some history to this where actually you did receive your wages in like a little packet each week.
Brown envelope. We used to get
brown envelope.
Yeah, brown envelopes.
It just seems so, again, it just seems so traditional and antiquated that I love it. So I'm going wage packet. Next is Lee.
I'm going like with the old little brown envelope. So it used to only be about that big. A little wage fit. Like,
how do you get 350,000 quid into one of those?
Well, I'll never like that. You know what I mean? It was only a thin envelope with me. I can tell you, like, you know what I mean? So, and it'd tell you what training sessions you've done, wins, and everything like that. So it was more like the little brown envelope. I think would be more that. Obviously, like for Kev, it was a packet. You know what I mean? So, but for me, pulling up trees, I think it's a fantastic football saying. You know what I mean? It's got nothing to do with trees football, but there's just something that you relate to it. So for me, pulling up trees all day long.
I almost pulled up a tree when I was imitating Kev Campbell's first goal at Highbury when you and I were there.
There's a few trees in there now, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's a few trees.
That's actually knocking over trees, not pulling up trees. But all right, so it's 1-1 now. So you're going pulling up trees.
Yep.
Kev?
I'm going to go for pulling up trees because I just like that saying. I just think it's such a football saying.
Yeah.
And it it relates from non-league because that's where we come from. We come from amateur football. And then as you start building up into professional, that always comes up. You're not exactly pulling up trees, or I tell you what, he's playing well. He's pulling up trees right now. So that means you got to watch him. So it's all the terminology. I just love that wage packet. Yeah. I think there's too much made of the wages now.
You're tired of hearing wage packet because of the connotation.
It was kind of authentic when you were back in the day earning £27.50 a week. You know what I mean? You can get your wages get your wages in a packet where you know what I mean. You can fit in.
Wage packet and there were coins in it.
Yeah, exactly, Mike. That's exactly it. But I've got to go with pulling up trees, mate.
Okay, all right. So that's 2 for pulling up trees, 1 for wage packet. Andy, the power's in your hands.
It's got to be pulling up trees. It, like Kev said, it's just such a football term. You would hear it nowhere else, unless you work in the tree industry. Like someone said to you, "Go pull up that tree."
Yeah, I think you could hear that.
Otherwise, you're not hearing it anywhere else.
Yeah.
Okay. I will say that based on the unofficial vote from the chat, I think we do have wage packet with a second vote. It's not enough as pulling up trees with the win there. So we've got our first 4 in the second round. Here's our next 4 matches: Done and Dusted and Flatters to Deceive. Andy,
that's a tough one.
This is a tough one. I like Done and Dusted.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Done and Dusted.
All right, Lee.
That's a tough one. I'm gonna just because it's probably more in the game. I'm gonna go Flatters to Deceive because you hear that a little bit more. Like, you know what I mean? Oh, he's all right, but he flatters to deceive. It's more of a football. I've heard that more in a footballing dressing room than Done and Dusted. Like, so I'm gonna go with Flatters to Deceive. Tough one though.
Okay, Kevin,
Flatters to Deceive wins hands down. Hands down.
I'm with you. We can. Done and Dusted has an obvious connotation. You want to hear it when it's talking about the Arsenal, but Flatters to Deceive. I mean, I never heard that until I started watching English football, and I mean, I still think most people wouldn't even know what it means if they heard it not in a context. So,
Mike, Flatters to Deceive is talking about Arsenal. This is the problem. You know what I mean? This is the problem. That's why, look, when we've been successful, Flats to Deceive never was mentioned. But now we've spent. Listen, you look at the money we've spent. We've done all that, and we're still Flatter to Deceive. Crazy.
I absolutely love that phrase, so I'm happy to see it progress to the second round. Second time of asking, and on a knife's edge. Let's start with Lee.
That's a tough one, like, you know what I mean?
No, not tough. Come on, judges. That's an easy one.
Well, I'm going to go like on a knife's edge. Then I'm going to go for that, like, you know. So I've heard that a little bit more, but I quite like both of them. But on a knife's edge is sort of like last couple of minutes of a game. You know, you do hear that one. So for me, that's what I'm going to go for.
Okay, Kev, you wanted to weigh in on this one right away.
Yeah, right away. On a knife edge. On a
You're not
knife
having
edge.
any trouble deciding on these at all, which is great.
No, listen. Second time of asking. No, not for me. On a knife's edge. Do you know what on a knife's edge means to me? It means you're in one of the big games, and there's a lot riding on it. So there's a lot of nerves with the fans in the stand, and it's toing and throwing, and you're battling. So the game's on a knife edge. It could be one goal in it. It could be drawing at the time. So, you know, that to me means a lot more than second time of asking. That's for sure.
I'm actually going to go with second time of asking because there's much easier ways of saying what that means, yet people still decide to just make it more complicated, and I love that. I'm all about that. So second time of asking is for me. I mean, it's the one that takes it. So it's 2-1. Andy, what are your thoughts on this? Are you done like clapping at things in the air?
It's like an annoying bug that keeps flying right in my face.
Did David Ziegler send that over to your house?
When I saw that picture of Lee and Allie at the pub, I thought, ooh, Judges is on a knife edge here. So that's going to be my vote.
Jeez.
I love coming on here.
It's a setup, isn't it? It's a setup. I tell you.
See, this is exactly what I'm talking about here. I don't know. I'm going to assume. I don't know if this is Amanda or Soph. I'm going to guess it's Soph. But yeah, it's poetic, and that's what I'm looking for. Unfortunately, so for Amanda, it wasn't enough. As it looks like it's a 4-1 to the knife's edge. But I hear you. I got you. The next one is Park the Bus versus Plenty of Industry. Kev, you first.
I'm gonna go with Plenty of Industry. Because I think
you don't like when you park the bus.
No, it's not necessarily that, because sometimes you have to park the bus. But Plenty of Industries, again, I always like to refer it to Arsenal. And there's been so many times this season, especially earlier on under Emery, where there weren't Plenty of Industry. And that's Plenty of Industry was needed. Seems like under Arteta now there is Plenty of Industry. Grown up in Arsenal, having Plenty of Industry. So that, for me, gets the job done. So I'm going to stick with what I know. I like that.
Beautiful. I'm actually going to second that. Plenty of Industry. Again, one of those kind of poetic sounding things where you could say it a lot differently, a lot more simply, but you don't, because you don't have to. Andy, what do you think here?
Yeah, I'll echo both of you guys. I think Park the Bus is so overused. Love the Plenty of Industry.
All right. Lee.
Well, for the first time, I'm going against you guys on this. I can't win it. But as much as it is a Jose Mourinho saying, and he was the one that brought it to there, I have heard it so many times since when I've been playing, managing, when you're watching games. Everybody uses that phrase of now parking the bus. And I think that it's so not a footballing term, but it has become a footballing term, you know, where everybody really does use it. And that's all credit to him for actually for doing that, even though I don't like him in any shape or form. But it does seem like a well-used term now. But unfortunately, I'm going to lose. So there you go.
Well, it's close, because I think I'm not sure if some of the people who said park the bus were voting for it or saying that they didn't like it because it reminds them of Jose. But it won't really matter. So we're going to give
I just got half of that last comment come up, and it was sort of agreeing with me when it said like it was a groundbreaking.
There's a few people that agree with you. We got Steve, Rob, Mike, Bobby Trucker,
I've given it the chat vote. It's not enough to win, but I've given it the chat vote. So, all right, next, covered himself in glory. Of course, this could be also used, covered herself in glory, or in the case of Lee, covered itself in glory, or bags of pace. Again, this is Speed Merchant, bags of pace, similar comments. Yeah. Andy, let's start with you on covered himself in glory or bags of pace.
I went on the done and dusted. Someone else has got to go, Mike.
Well, we're rotating, so if I call on you, you answer. That's how this works.
All right.
Just finish your child.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with covered himself in glory. Bags of pace is too close to Speed Merchant. I'm gonna say covered himself in glory.
There's like bags that can like you open the bag and it has pace in it. That's why I like that. Although anything with glory, this is probably the toughest one for me because glory is just such a exaggerated term. I can't think of the word now that I'm trying to use, but I'm gonna go with bags of pace though. I like that one. So it's 1-1. We go to Kev.
I'm gonna go for bags of pace as well, Mike. I think bags of pace. You know what you're gonna get. You know it's a threat, and I just think it keeps the opposition on their toes. So, covered himself in glory, I know is a great saying, but bags of pace, there's a lot more pace than glory.
And I just imagine like you go to Tesco's and you go to check out at the counter and they ask you like, would you like this in bags of pace or would you just like regular bags? So, all right, so that's 2-1 to bags of pace. Lee,
come on, judges.
Yeah, I'm going with bags of pace. I just think it's a saying that
absolute balance.
what I call him Bell, eh? But what I think with bags of pace, it's just when you're in the dressing room, all around. It's been a term that's been there for age. Got bags of pace. As Kevin says, it's dead right. It puts you on the back foot. If you're a defender, you know what I mean. You've got to worry about him. And I just think bags of pace. It's just no logic to it. But you just know what it means. So for me, that's why it gets it for me.
For what it's worth, the chat group has gone with covered himself in glory, and we've got our good friend Russ in the chat group who just joined us. He's taken some time away from photographing birds.
Oh, and it's a shame. It's a shame, isn't it?
Not even the right kind.
I miss his dosey like morning birds. Like it just sets me up for the day. That does.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Oh, look, and the first thing he says is, "Oh, hi, Kevin. Hey, what's it?
Hello, Russ."
Yeah, like that. I mean, so.
Well, what do we say? That Russ gave a shout out to Rob Ford before Kevin.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one.
Rob, that says a lot, man. Big ups to you. All right.
Ask him why he's got a tent up in his garden as well. Has he been kicked out of his house or something?
Kicked out, pal. Don't worry.
I mean, Jenny's kicked him out, I think. He's got a tent in his garden, like that. I mean, so fed up with his bird watching.
Speaking of Russ, we have At the Death versus Under the Kosh. Let's start with Lee. Obviously, these two are very different in what they mean, but what are you going to go with here? What are your thoughts?
At the Death or Under? I've got to go for Under the Kosh. I've got to go for Under the Kosh. It's I love it. At the Death means, but like I feel that's a good thing under the Kosh when you're under a bit of pressure. It was under the Kosh today, but we nicked it, and there's a good podcast and all under the Kosh, so I think I'm going to go with that.
What is a Kosh? For those that don't know,
it's like a baton. What you can hit people over the head with. That's a Kosh. Yeah.
How do you know that coming from South London? How do you know that?
Wait, that's where it started, mate. Kosh is bandit country, mate. Listen, for me, I'm gonna go with At the Death. Although Under the Kosh is a great one. I've been on the podcast Under the Kosh twice. Think it's great.
Brilliant.
In football terms, Under the Kosh is a nervous time for supporters, isn't it? Very nervous time where the opposition's on top. But I've got to refer back to Michael Thomas at the death. And, that for me was the best at the death moment in a football game that I could ever remember. And that for me is why I'm going to choose at the death.
Since there's already a podcast called Under the Kosh, Andy, are you okay with us changing the name of our podcast again to At the Death? I think it's a much more suitable name than the Gooners podcast. All right, which one are you going with? It's 1-1.
I think I'm going to echo what Steve Feely is saying in the comments, that it's got to be Under the Kosh because you wouldn't hear that anywhere else. I think At the Death, you can put that to any sports across the globe, but Under the Kosh just seems English all over. So I'm going to go. That's going to be my vote.
Going under the Kosh. I'm going Under the Kosh. That's 3-1. Sounds like the group, the chat has gone Under the Kosh. So Kevin, very very well explained. You stood up for what you believe in, which is big for us. Just wasn't enough in the end.
Hey, Fredo's right. I tell you.
I see Russ has put a very good one in the chat, like getting the old onion bag. That's
the onion bag,
great one. That's a great
onion bag was in the. There's a lot of these that are, if you're coming up with ones you're not seeing so far, the chances are they were in the
judges.
In the second
he meant he's sleeping in an onion bag in the tent.
Yeah, probably, yeah. He ain't mentioned about that tent.
Next one is asking questions against Diabolical. We'll start with Andy.
Oh, this one.
And it's not, you can't say asking questions. You have to say asking questions. I mean, it's just not the same. And I know it's not authentic coming out of my mouth, but when are we going to hear you go back to your full British English accent, Andy?
Yeah.
Are you saving that for season 5?
You're being diabolical, Mike. Asking those type of questions. I don't know. This one's a tough one because I'll go with asking questions. Okay.
We'll just go up the chain here from what I'm seeing. Lee?
Yeah, I'm going to go for that, like asking questions. I just think that, why would you be asking questions at football? But you do hear it a lot, they're asking all the questions. So, I like that saying. So I'm going to go for that.
All right, Kevin?
Asking questions is good, but I'm going to go for diabolical. You know why? Because of that VAR. I think VAR is diabolical. We've had some diabolical decisions against us, so I'm going for diabolical. I'm not saying that to go through. I'm saying it because I think it's diabolical.
I mean, diabolical is, I mean, it's a word, but it's just, you just wouldn't, there's so many words you would use before that to describe something that you don't like, except when your football team is playing shit, it's diabolical. It's just completely diabolical. So I'm going with that. I think that makes it 2-2.
And it looks like we got Mike Hernandez for diabolical, Fredo for diabolical. Soph is just refusing to answer the question.
There's a surprise.
A woman there sitting on the fence. And then we're going to go. Steven is saying diabolical. Russ is in the doghouse. I think he's relating to
That's diabolical, that is.
Yeah, that's diabolical. That.
Yeah, so diabolical wins.
Well done.
And very good there. Steven, by the way, as I like to say, is the creator of those 89 shirts that you see me wear on the podcast. The design right there.
Quality, yeah.
Always like to give him a plug. Kevin, I'm still trying to get your shirt to you.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm actually going to go online and order some tomorrow.
Well, I know Steve wants to get you one. I think it's just a matter of whether you let me release your personal information to him or not. But we'll get it taken care of because we'd love to see you wearing one of those shirts.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. In the Ascendancy versus 6s and 7s. Now, this is proof that I randomized this because these are two of my favorites going against each other in the first round. Just absolutely brilliant, and I'm going to save myself for last year because I can't decide yet. We're going to start with Kevin.
It's for me, 6s and 7s wins all day long because that is That's like saying we're performing like the Keystone Cops. You're at 6s and 7s, lads. Come on. No, for me, in the ascendancy means you're moving, which is fine, but 6s and 7s means it's a joke. So no, I'm going with 6s and 7s, Mike.
Is that does that emanate from cricket originally? What's the background behind 6s and 7s? Lee, you're old, you know.
I haven't got a clue where it comes from. It'd be interesting what I say. But I'm with Kev on this one. 6s and 7s, it relates to our defending and our Arsenal. I can relate to it all the time. 6s and 7s, it's a polite word of saying that you're not shit. You know what I mean? Like, so like, you know, 6s and 7s. Well, where it comes from, if anybody knows, fantastic. But I ain't got a clue where it must be some sort of card game or something. Isn't it? I think. I'm
looking it up. At 6s and 7s, has been in the English language for approximately 900 years. While the definition has changed, it means being in a complete disarray and confusion and a complete.
Does it mean all over the place?
Yeah, disarray.
Yeah.
Yeah, confusion, everything. Yeah.
State of confusion is exactly what it says.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it had to do with a dice game actually, and people risking their entire fortune and rolling 6s and 7s. So interesting. This is an educational podcast, Andy, that we do.
Oh yeah, I mean, and if you want more of that, you can listen to Mike and Andy talk education, and that's our other podcast.
Yeah, with special guest Tom Canton, who twilights as a school teacher when he's not doing journalism.
Sophie says it's based on the dice. Good enough for me, then. If Sophie says it's good enough, mate.
You know, she knows. She's British AF. All right.
Educated.
So we have, I don't even know what the count is. Who's voted? I mean,
it's 2-0, 6s and 7s. It's going to be 3-0.
I like that one, Danny.
Danny, that's a great one.
Yeah.
Oh, 900 years ago was the last time Spurs won a trophy, and Fredo said, LOL.
Fredo, that's massive commentary coming from Fredo.
And so I'm going to go with 6s and 7s too, Mike. I love In the Ascendancy, but again, 6s and 7s, who the hell knows where it came from? It's just excellent.
We just told you where it came from. No, but you know what? I gotta say, if In the Ascendancy probably for me beats any of the other ones we've done so far, except for this one. So I'm making it the first whitewash, the first 5-0. In the Ascendancies out, 6s and 7s goes through. All right, Against the Run of Play versus Smash and Grab. These are kind of two related terms here, but which do you like better? Let's start with Lee.
Smash and Grab for me. Just got more of a atom sort of thing. So
more of a violent feel to it.
Yeah, I just you know, it's sort of like against the run of play. No, smash and grab, whatever. Like, so for me,
I love that explanation. Everyone knows what you mean now.
Yeah.
Andy.
Oh, I think it's got to be smash and grab as well. I really do.
The fuckery coming out of you there, Andy. I love it. Well done.
I love both of them, but the smash and grab.
First time you two have agreed on anything ever, I think. I'm going with Against the Run of Play to give it a chance because, again, the run of play I'm not a violent man. I'm a lover, not a fighter. So smashing and grabbing sounds like something I gave up in my 20s. I'm going Against the Run of Play, and I may be going Against the Run of Play. But Kev, you're going to tell us whether we're going to the chat or not about this one.
No, we're going smash and grab. It's got to be. Listen, at Arsenal, we've lived off that for quite a bit. 1-0 to the Arsenal is a smash and grab at times.
That's true.
Where we've had to defend.
Play, though.
We've had to defend, and sometimes score, smash and grab, including playing against the run of play. So, smash and grab for me. 1-0 to the Arsenal. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, that's 3-1. I can't really tell. It looks like pretty. I think smash and grab probably takes the crowd vote. The chat group, thinking of Lee, the chat vote. All right, and the last 4 of the first round, it will get quicker. We're almost halfway done here. Tactical noose and make a meal out of. What do we got? Kev, you get started on this one.
Well, I'm gonna go with tactical nous.
Nouse.
Because nous. Tactical nous, because we all like the creative players, don't we? You know, back in the day, Liam Brady's, and then, you know, you had Rocky and all those guys. But having tactical nous, Santi Cazorla absolutely had the tactical nous to be able to work stuff out. I think that's really important. Making a meal of it just seems to me about people getting fouled and then rolling about. I don't want any part of that. So tactical nous does it for me.
See, I've noticed something about this, and this is fine, and this is perfectly why we have different people giving their opinion. Your opinions, Kevin, seem to be based on the underlying definition of what it means, whereas mine and possibly some of the chats are thinking of just how eloquent and weird the phrase itself is. And so I like that we're coming at this from different angles. It's making the voting close, which is what it should be. So you're going with tactical nous.
Let's
switch it. Let's switch up to Andy.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with tactical nous as well, mostly because I hate make a meal out of it. I think that's one of the worst parts of football is when a player goes down being barely touched, and the fact that it has its own phrase is just even more annoying. So I'm gonna go tactical nous.
Lee?
Tactical for me, yeah. I'm going to go for that one as well. I think it's a good term. It's a good term that, you know, he lacks tactical nous or he's got tactical nous, and you hear that quite a lot in the football dressing room. So it can be complimentary and it can be not complimentary. So that's a good one for me.
We pointed out in season 1, episode 1, that one thing that we were not going to offer on this podcast from the host was tactical nous. I think we've kept that promise. I got to go with tactical nous, even though I can make a meal out of just about anything. As you can tell, tactical nous wins it for me, and it looks like the chat as well. So we've got the host of the podcast in which Lee danced. We've covered that earlier, but all right, beating him for pace, or beating her for pace, or playing a blinder. Andy, you're first.
I'm going to say playing a blinder. It's just such a football term. And it's a great one, too.
We got to cruise through these. So, Lee.
Yep, for me, playing a blinder.
Free, playing a blinder, definitely.
You know, I fruitless vote, but I'm going with beating him for pace. I just like the sound of it. And so that's 3-1. I'm not really seeing anything from the chat. If you want to weigh in so that we can just make the final score on that. But I think we'll go. The first person to react on the chat.
Listen, you can make it 3-2 anyway. Don't worry. It's not going to go through. Make it close.
That's true. It really doesn't matter, does it? Squeaky bum time there. I think someone asked for this earlier.
This was
Sophie. Yeah.
Sophie, you got what you asked for, but it's going up against one and capitulate. Lee, what are you going for first here?
Well, squeaky bum time, Alex Ferguson. You know, not really a lover of him like I ain't in love with Mourinho, but I love capitulate. Again, related to Arsenal, we always capitulate. The defence capitulates. We capitulate in February. After February, it is a lovely Arsenal term, unfortunately. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to go with that.
So you're going capitulate?
I am, yep.
I'm making it 2. I just love capitulate again. Something you only ever hear in football. I've never heard anyone capitulate at the grocery store. So that's my judgment. Andy.
I'm going to go on the other side of this. I'm going to go squeaky bum time. I just don't know when you're ever going to hear that in any other sport reference, and I just think it's hilarious.
You don't hear it when you're potty training your son?
No, that's just shit all over the house, you know.
There's nothing squeaky about that.
No.
All right, 2-1, and Kevin, you can either send it to the chat or you can take it home for capitulate.
No, I'm going to take it home. For me, this capitulate tells me about. Do you remember when Arsenal were 4-0 up away at Newcastle?
Oh, Kevin, don't remind us.
Yes, I do.
And then the capitulation in the second half. The team just capitulated. I've got to refer it to that. Yeah,
again. Joey Barton included in that. He made a meal out of it. and we capitulated. And check Toyota, though. What a shot that was.
Should have never got to that, Mike. Come on.
No, it should have never got to 4-2, much less 4-4.
Exactly.
All right. So from the group, we've actually got it's 3-3 as of Michael Hernandez. So Tim Cole joining us on Facebook. Tim. All right. So Squeaky Bum at least pulls into 3-2, but Capitulate takes it. I'm happy to see that. Almost done with the round of 32. The last one on tenterhooks versus Pony.
There's only one winner here. Can I start this one, please?
Yeah,
listen, this Pony it's got to be Pony.
Mm-hmm.
This is whether you play on Hackney Marshes, whether you play in Manchester, Pony wins all day long because that just says absolute crap. The team were Pony today.
He's Pony, yeah, definitely.
He's absolute Pony him. No, that's a great football saying which you will not hear anywhere else.
The only thing I don't like about Pony is the person who says it the most is someone I just cannot stand anymore. But every other word out of his mouth is Pony. But I love it though. Pony is just. I mean, how do you take something that like makes little girls happy to get for their birthday and turn it into something that means what it means in football language? So Pony all day long. Lee?
Pony all day long.
All right. Is this going to be 5-0, Andy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we got Pony is definitely Pony is the champion here. Okay. So now we start getting into some fast action here because we're going to the second round. We got some tough things to come up with. Starting with handbags against Lost the Plot. Andy, you first.
I still love handbags. It's absolute handbags. You know, that wins it for me.
Okay, Kev.
Listen, they're kind of connected, aren't they?
Yeah.
Teams or players who lost the plot tend to get into handbags, don't they? So I suppose. I think the scrapping's got to win, innit? The handbags has to win. The actual scrap for me.
It's going to get tougher here, and I think we're going to need to call on the cat a little bit more. But it's 2-0 here, Lee.
I still Lost the Plot. I just think it sums up everything, you know. So as much as I love handbags because they're both really good footballing sayings, but you know I've been in dressing rooms when people turn around and say, "Oh, did you see that? He just lost the plot." I just like it. I just something about it. So for me, Lost the Plot.
See, when I hear Lee talk about how he's been in dressing rooms, I'm imagining like at like a clothing store. Like I'm not thinking at like a football stadium. So you know, all right, handbags. I think is going to take this though. It's going to be 4-1 because I'm going handbags all day long. I don't think I wanted Lost the Plot to win in the first place. So I'm certainly not voting for them now.
Well, like that is it. It's your show. Yeah.
Yes, it is, Lee.
Ooh, we got some handbags here, Kev. We got some handbags here.
Yeah, got some handbags.
Gonna kick off around there, yeah.
Yeah, I've lost the plot.
All
right, Speed Merchant against Pulling Up Trees. Kev, I know we know the answer to this, but although this might be a tough one for you.
No, Pulling Up Trees wins this hands down. Speed Merchant, yeah. Listen, I understand what it means and. To get through the first round, but Pulling Up Trees is you're not going to hear that anywhere else, but you know, in football, unless Andy, you're involved in the timber business, right? There you go. So now, Pulling Up Trees wins for me, Mike.
Can you imagine what the next round's going to be like here? But for Kevin, it's going to be just epic. Andy, what are you going with?
Easily Pulling Up Trees.
Lee?
Pulling Up Trees. Love it. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't vote for them in the first round, but it was only because of wage packet. I'm going Pulling Up Trees as well. So I think that's unanimous there. Let's not wait for the chat because it doesn't matter. The chat matters.
Don't you lose the plot, they will. You know, don't be losing the plot with him.
Each one of you matters to me in a very special way. All right, flatters to deceive or on a knife's edge. To me, that's easy. I'm going flatters. Andy.
Ooh, yeah, I would go Flatters to Deceive as well.
I'm
I
just
love
not a big
Nice Edge, but
I'm not a big fan. Oh, this is a controversial one that didn't make the cut.
Russ has come up with a couple on there, just saying, like, you know, the other one was like, couldn't hit a barn door with a banjo. It's a classic saying, like, you know what I mean? But
Russes are all about failure and violence, though. It's like weird.
Says the man in the tent from his back garden.
And such of a rapist, that gets mentioned a lot, you know, when you're playing in the training field. Like,
jeez.
A
couple of classics there.
Yeah, good old Russ.
Uh-oh.
Well, look, he's losing the plot up there, Mike. He's losing the plot.
Which is touch of a rapist.
Hello.
What's going on?
Touch of a rapist.
Kev, when they say about coming on again, just remind me what goes on here, like, you know what I mean?
By the way,
I know.
You have a growth named Johnny Love Buttons coming out of your neck. Making an appearance. All right. Sorry, that was below the belt. That was that Flattered to Deceive. All right. So remind me where we were now. Flatters to Deceive.
2-0.
And on the nice edge, right?
Flatters to Deceive wins for me.
3-0.
So it's 3-1, 4-1 in the chat. So let me get back to that. Now we're moving fast and furious through this. Plenty of Industry against Bags of Pace. Creative versus raw speed. By the way, I've been told I had Bags of Pace as a teenager by none other than Gab Marcotti on our podcast, football journalist who would know. So anyway.
Here's another good one from Gooner Russ. Touch of Gary Glitter.
No wonder he's in that tent. I'll tell you, that's what I'm
seriously.
saying.
Russ is unhappy. He's unhappy.
He's in there with his tent. He ain't got no kitchen facilities in there. He's not happy.
I've never seen such a cuddly, puffy guy like be so angry sometimes. It's like you see him.
Flatters to deceive, doesn't he? He flatters to deceive.
He flatters. He deceives in a lot of ways. All right, Plenty of Industry, Bags of Pace. Lee.
Plenty of Industry for me on this one.
Okay.
You know, I think for me.
Kevin?
But I do like Bags of Pace. Some do like.
I'm gonna go with Bags of Pace. I just think again that's you're not gonna hear that anywhere else bar football, really.
Yeah,
that's 1-1. Andy.
I think I'm with Team Judge here. I'm gonna go Plenty of Industry.
Ooh.
And I'm with Team Kevin here with Bags of Pace. So this one is going to the chat. Let's get it in now. We're
Don't ask Russ. He's on Gary Glitter works and things like that.
So Pace is definitely going to win to get away.
This software program won't let me replace the ones that are already in there with anything about Gary Glitter. So
we've got Rob Ford. So we've got Michael
Industry.
Hernandez, Industry. Steven's telling Russ he's gone too far. Fredo is Industry. Steven's Bags of Pace.
We need two more. Industry. All right.
Rob Ford, Industry.
Next one up then, really, isn't it?
Industry's taking it.
There's people in there commenting on
with bags.
Oh, Daddy came in with bags.
Danny always comes in with bags.
Tim Cole with Bags. Fredo, Industry. I think Industry's won this one, Mike.
Hey, Fredo's done it twice. Get him out.
Yeah. Well spotted, Kev.
Yeah, he's done it twice. You forfeited it.
Bags. Industry. Has to be Bags. Okay, Soph gets to do it in a controversial final second win. It's Bags of Pace taking it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Under the clock against Diabolical.
Favoritism there, I think.
Yeah.
Under the
Not happy with that, Andy. Not happy with that. We're not happy with that one.
Lee, we will audit this later on. We will audit this later on.
It's gonna be like when we did our football picks in the first couple seasons, and you had your lawyer.
The lawyers will be on this one, judges. I promise you that.
Yeah.
Okay. Under the Kosh against Diabolical, Kevin.
I love Diabolical. I do love Diabolical. I just think it's right on, but I'm gonna have to go for Under the Cosh on this one. I really am. Under the Cosh. Nervy fans away from home. You're under the Cosh, and you come away with something, or you come away with a win. Makes your trip home much better. So I'm gonna go with Under the Cosh.
Okay, Lee.
Yeah, I'm with Kevin on this one. I like the saying. I think it's, as I said, it's definitely a footballing terminology. What a lovely word I've just said there, terminology. So Under the Cosh for me, like, you know.
All right, so that's 2. Andy, are you going to tip it and keep it out of my hands?
No. I'm going with the lads here.
You're going Under the Cosh?
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll stick up for Diabolical in a fruitless effort. I think we've not yet opened it up to the chat, but we've got an Under the Cosh. Oh, we've got Diabolical. So again, as Kevin pointed out to me, it doesn't matter. Under the Cosh has won.
Yeah, get on with it.
Yeah, move on.
I'll make myself feel better. I'm trying to support the integrity of the competition, gents, and you guys just wanted to move on. All right, 6s and 7s, smash and grab.
This one would be on Sky, wouldn't it? This one.
Yeah, I mean this is definitely
this would be the selected game, I think.
Who's going, Mike?
Andy, you first.
Oh, 6s and 7s.
Kevin.
6s and 7s for me, definitely.
I think that's one of the favorites in the tournament.
Favorites,
I think
one of the favorites.
You would not want it to be drawn against 6s and 7s. But
I think we're going to see 6s and 7s go straight to the final here.
I don't know. When you have to look at it versus Under the Cosh, you might think differently. But Lee.
Yeah, 6s and 7s for me. I do love smash and grab as well. It's a great saying, but 6s and 7s beats it for me.
All right, well, that's a 5-0. I'm seeing the chat heading in that direction. Tactical Nous. I always thought it was Noose. Tactical Nous playing a blinder.
Playing a blinder for me. Playing a blinder. Definitely playing a blinder.
Apologize for not calling one, but Kev, you jumped in and
he does what he wants. He does what he wants.
He does what he wants. He does what he wants. Playing a blinder, Mike. Go on, Mike.
Andy.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be playing a blinder.
Lee.
Playing a blinder.
See, I'm going to stand up for Tactical Nous. My judgment isn't the one that the crowds are going with today. But
you've just got thumped. You've just been given a right good smashing in the round.
I did, but you know what I could have done?
Humiliated.
You know what I could have done? I could have just gone with the crowd. I could have gone with the cool kids and just said something that I didn't believe in. But no, I have integrity. I have integrity. I don't capitulate. I'm in the ascendancy. Even if I lost. So that's what I got going for me in life. And the final one, capitulate. Oh, this is a tough one. Capitulate against Pony.
There's one winner.
Pony.
Pony's the one winner. He's Pony. One winner.
Lee, any difference there?
I absolutely love the word capitulate. It's a fantastic word. But Pony just says so much in football. It does, you know what I mean? It can, even Spurs were sponsored by it for a little while, weren't they?
Yeah,
exactly. So it has to be Pony for me, So
is there a term poxy that kind of means the same thing as well? I've heard poxy being bandied about, but I mean in the same kind of terminology as Pony, but I don't know. Maybe someone just couldn't spell. All right, so Pony, we got some obvious ones coming through, but at some point you are not going to be able to avoid these tough competitions. We've got the final 8 now, starting with handbags against pulling up trees.
Quarterfinals
right now. We're getting closer. 4 of these teams, the winner of these matchups, will be going to Wembley. Lee.
Handbags.
For me, I'm not going to be bullied by Campbell. I'm not going to be bullied, so I am going for pulling up trees. That is my one today. I still love that as a term, so I'm going for it. Pulling up trees for me. 1-0 to pulling up trees.
Handbag.
No, it's not. It's 1-1. Andy, let's see
Handbag.
where you're going with it. Handbags.
I'm with Super Kev. Handbags.
Ah, Jesus.
I got to go handbags as well on this one.
No.
Because it's a scrap, isn't it? It's a scrap. It's a scrap. That's what it is, Lee.
Yeah. Handbags.
Hey, Lee, I tell you what, do you remember last season playing Spurs at the Emirates? And there was a little bit of handbags going on.
There was,
we liked the handbags then, didn't we?
We did like the handbags that time, like that.
All right, handbags.
I never thought Aaron Ramsey would ever be like that, but he was, wasn't he?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Flatters to deceive and bags of pace. Let's start with Lee.
Flatters to deceive, I'm going for.
Yeah.
I'm going for flatters to deceive. It's a good one, so I'm going for it.
Andy.
I'm going to go flatters to deceive as well.
Kev.
I think bags of pace has lost his pace. Flatters to deceive gone through.
It's done well to make it this far, but it's just out of its league, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
Flatters to deceive. And we're making that a 4-0 right there. The first person in the chat to answer this one gets the chat vote. And I think we got Fredo votes early and often with bags. So it is 4-1. Fredo's never had so much power in his life as he does right now. Under the Kosh against pre-tournament favorite 6s and 7s. Raise your hand if you're voting for under the Kosh here. Raise your hand if you're voting for 6s and 7s here. All right. That's what I thought. All right, so I mean, we can see where this is headed, but with most FA Cups, you can see where it's headed as well. Playing a blinder against Pony. This is tough.
Could be a good semi-final.
We're gonna start here with Andy.
I still think Pony is just you.
The thing is,
it's just one of those things where you just walk in and say he was Pony, and everyone knows. Everyone's in agreement. I'm going to go Pony.
Is I don't know if this is like an acceptable question to answer, but like, is Pony, is that like a class thing? Like, would you see like a very classy, high end, like a pundit who fancied themselves to be like above the fray and all that use the word pony, or is it more of
John
like
Cross?
a playground?
Do you think John Cross uses Pony?
Is that what you think of John Cross?
I don't see that being used in the Sky Sports studios, Pony. No one ever saying that.
Right.
It's just more of a footballing.
I've never heard Ian Darke or Brian Moore call something.
I guarantee that Gary Neville would never say that, but I guarantee he said it in the dressing room.
Oh, absolutely.
In that dressing room that we frequent all the time.
But as Kev said, I mean, it really sums up that you were fucking shit. So you're not going to put that on camera, are you?
No, you're not. You're not. Pony.
We put it on camera all the time. But
Pony is like from amateur to pro, and in the stands, you know, if your team was rubbish, you as a fan, you say we were Pony today.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's unbelievable. Pony has to go through. Playing the binder is a good one, but Pony goes through to the semi.
All right. So are we 4-0 on that one? And I think the crowd has Pony. So we're actually seeing as tough as these matchups are, we're seeing some pretty overwhelming defeats here. Pony is 2. And now we've got Wembley set up. We've got the football phrase Wembley. The final 4 are handbags, flatters to deceive, 6s and 7, and Pony. So we're going to start with the first matchup, handbags against flatters to deceive. We're going to start with the chat this time. They're going to get a vote. So let's have it, handbags or flatters to deceive. We'll wait for the first, let's say, 3 votes to come in. Be thinking of your options when you have it, but yeah, what is Pony that used to have the Spurs kit? I don't remember that.
there was a sports mate called Pony. And then Spurs had him for a couple of years. I think, was Nike. Like they had Pony.
Well, they were Pony, yeah. We're Nike, they're Pony. That tells you everything.
It tells you everything you need to know. That did.
That is the most Spursy thing I've ever heard in my life. That's all right. So we've got handbags. We've got one vote from Tim Cole for handbags. We need 2 more votes to get the first one. Oh, both for Flatters. So Flatters gets the crowd vote. Oh wait, no, sorry.
Wait.
We got handbags, Flatters, handbags.
Russ, look at Russ.
Where's that got to do?
That's handbags. That means handbags.
That's fucking ramblings of a madman living in a tent. That's what that is.
That's what that is.
That's our
Unfortunately, ain't Cronky out. It's Russ out at the moment. He's in the shed, isn't he? Like, you know what I mean? So
that's our coveted demographic, our madmen sitting in tents. So, we have an intense podcast, but we didn't actually mean for like our listeners to be intense. All right, so I think handbags actually takes it for the crowd vote. Lee?
I'm going to go with Flatters to deceive.
Okay. Kevin?
Handbags all day long.
All right, 2-1 for handbags. I'm going to go with Flatters to deceive, and I'm going to put it on you, Andy, to decide.
There's only one answer, and it's handbags.
There we go.
Yeah. A bit of violence. Love it, Andy.
Handbags are on to the finals. Who would have thought?
I remember there was, I think it was Ian Wright. Something happened in a game, and someone slapped another player, and he went, "It was just a little bitch slap. It's just handbags."
Yeah, handbags, man. That's.
Well, yeah, handbags kind of like implying, I suppose, that it wasn't. I mean, if it was like a punch that knocked a guy down, that wouldn't be handbags. That would be beyond handbags, right?
Yeah.
It's a little bitch slap.
That would be cinder block or something like that. All right. The other semifinals, 6s and 7 against Pony. Let's go with. We know what Kevin's going to say, so let's go with Andy first on this one.
Oh, Pony.
Okay, Lee.
As much as I love Pony, I just like 6s and 7s for me. 6s and 7s for me.
I've stuck with Pony the whole ride. I'm staying on the back of it.
You've been riding a pony this whole time.
I've been riding the pony the whole time.
All right,
and I just want to say that I think that Kevin Lee's answers are Pony.
We're all right. So we got 1-1.
You're going to get some handbags in a bit, you.
Kevin, let's
6s
make it
and
4.
7s. Yeah, no, 6s and 7s for me.
Oh,
Definitely.
really? Oh,
yeah.
I'm blown away. I thought you were riding the pony the whole way too.
Nope.
He falls in and out of love with Pony, and from one round to the next. This is the tough part about this competition. All right, so it's 2-1 to 6s and 7s. Let's go to the crowd. The crowd. Why am I calling them the crowd? The chat.
You just want to have the final say, didn't you? That's what you're going to say.
You know, I get to do that once, but I might not even. 6s and 7s seems to be
classic.
We got Hernandez with Pony. We got Fredo with 6s and 7s. We got Tim with Pony. So that's 2 for Pony, 1 for 6s and 7s.
What the fuck is he talking? Russ, Andy, in like gladiator films.
Carry one.
He's got porn up in that tent, hasn't he? Like, you know what I mean? That's what he's got.
He's on the Freemans. Oh, jeez.
I think we've got 6s and 7s here, which makes it what, 3-1?
Yep.
Yeah.
6s and 7s? Wow. All right. Well,
that's a good one. I would rather be at 6s and 7s than ride the pony. That's quality saying. Yeah. I'm having that safe. Well done.
Well, I'm going 6s and 7s as well, so it's 4-1, and we have our FA Cup final of football phrases. I got to say, it's a doozy. Let's just get this over with. All right, we're not gonna push this out. We're not gonna do a whole second podcast. We're not gonna do any American Idol or what is it, English Idol.
Aren't you doing that right now with rambling on?
I am. That's the funny part about it. All right. Kevin Campbell, handbags, sixes and sevens. Where are you
Oh,
going?
right. Has he got first vote, Andy? What's going on here?
We're going in order of from most goals scored for Arsenal to least.
Oh, that's fair enough. I can't argue with that.
I'm actually gonna go for sixes and sevens.
No, Kev.
I am. I'm going to go for sixes and sevens because do you know what? I've played in a few teams that were at sixes and sevens. Trust me, so I can relate to it. I played in a few teams who got involved with handbags, but sixes and sevens, I'm going to relate to it. I don't think I could make a bad decision here. So sixes and sevens.
All right, perfect. We've got our first blood. The second most goals scored in English football. Let's not say for Arsenal. Mr. Lee Judges.
I've scored 2 goals at Highbury. In my head, in my imagination, when I was running on the pitch. You know what I mean? So that counts.
I scored one right in front of you.
Both in the North Bank.
Then I went and hugged a steward just like Kevin did. Very authentic. All right. What do you got, Lee?
Sixes and sevens for me. I just think it was the winner from the early kickoff. It's just a great saying for me.
It was the winner from early doors.
Yeah, I think it win convincingly as well.
Okay, Andy, are you going to end this right here, or are you going to keep it going?
Much like the pony, I've stuck with handbags the whole way through. I absolutely love it. That's my vote.
All right, and we're gonna give it to the chat because I want the chat to have a say here. Let's see what we got. We have sixes and sevens.
Russ is saying, "Get on with this thing for fuck's sake."
He says, "Kevin, you've changed it."
He worked that. He works. I reckon he's on the punk. Russ.
I'm telling you,
he's on something.
You've changed, Russ. You've changed being in the garden.
Sixes and sevens.
It's changed the combination.
The chat's gone with sixes and sevens. I'm going with sixes and sevens. Andy, you lose. Everyone else, we win. And the champion of the 2020 FA Cup Final of Football Phrases, as I predicted from the beginning, on absolutely no occasion, sixes and sevens has won. This is momentous, guys. I don't know how to, thank you for making this happen. We'll have the parade. It's going to be on Monday for everyone that wants to watch it. And we're well over our allotted hour. But when you have something this important, this crucial for society, you have to spend the right amount of time on it. So, Kevin, what are you up to these days? What other than Andy and me, who do you have coming up on your Who Are You channel?
There's Ryan from Mr. Arsenal. There's Tiffany Campo from No Lagooners.
Oh, beautiful. I'd love to hear that.
Got Hilsey from Guns and Yellow Ribbons. He's coming up. And
any Trabzonspor supporters that you're going to have on?
No, because they're Turkish. They're not. It wouldn't quite assimilate. But I will get it. I will get it one day. So that's in my thought process to get more fans. And I need to get Lee for part 3 because I've got a good few questions for Lee for part 3.
Oh, good. So I'll be able to watch that coming up soon. I was worried that I was running out of Lee Judge's YouTube content.
I wasn't.
No, he'll give you plenty of ammunition. Don't worry.
Beautiful. I'm thrilled to hear that Tiffany's coming on, and we are all Tiffany fans. The things that she does for the supporters club here in Arsenal America are amazing. She gives so much of herself, so it'd be nice to hear from her when she's not actually having to work and organize.
If no one's actually seen those shows, I've got to say, not because I've been on a few, but any of them, they're just absolutely brilliant. From Sophie, been on there, Amanda, to have Trev on there, who's a Gooner that's been there for a very, very long while. The Budgie ones are absolutely brilliant. So they're all really, really, it's just worth half hour. It's just brilliant viewing. I've got to say that, Kev, it's just absolutely brilliant viewing. Who's ever on, the chemistry that Kevin has with everybody is brilliant. And, we had a Man United fan in there. I thought, I ain't going to like that. You know what I mean? But
and Red Nose job, but hey, look,
he was very good. And it's just a really good, it's a good half hour to an hour.
A good series,
it's really, really good. So.
Well, and again, Kevin, we've gotten to know each other a little bit through this whole last couple of years, thanks to Lee, actually. But I consider you a friend, but I also consider you someone who is the footballer, the superstar, if you will, and for you to turn around and show interest in supporters,
it's brilliant.
And genuinely do it from the desire to kind of spotlight support rather than just have the game be about the footballers all the time and the owners and the board and all that, and really put the spotlight on the supporters is wonderful. It's brilliant. I think
Mike, can I say this? Do you know one thing about this lockdown? And now we're seeing German football without supporters. I think the supporters, the genuine fans around the world, should be cherished by these football clubs, because without the fans, football is nowhere near the spectacle that it is. Without you guys, without everybody together, and we all have our different opinions, of course we do, but without everybody collective, football isn't the same. So it's my little bit to give back to you guys and say thank you. You supported me throughout my career, etc. You support me now that I've finished the game and I'm doing, I'm on the other side of it now. So this is just me giving back to you guys.
Well, it's brilliant. I enjoy it and just appreciate the concept of it in the first place. And so everyone go to Kevin Campbell's YouTube page. I type Kevin Campbell into YouTube to search, and the first 9 things that come up are Tevin Campbell. And I can't. Right. I think that's bullshit, man. I mean, how is he more famous than you?
I think it's called America.
Well,
I think it's called America. It's a bigger place.
Then I put in Kevin Campbell interesting, and then all your videos come up, and all his go away. So
there you go.
So everybody watch that. Lee, you are just turn YouTube on, and you'll see Lee.
I haven't been. I've not done a few things, but I've just started to get back into it again. Kevin sort of got me sort of back into it by talking about those things. You realise, what football is and what it is, and it is about the game, but it's not. It's about what connects it all around it as well. And I think that's what's been missing as well. And the great thing about Kevin, is that he was a professional footballer and played for Arsenal, but now he's a fan. And and what you can do is relate to that. That these guys, before they were professional footballers, they were fans of different teams and whatever. And fortunately, Kevin was a fan of Arsenal, and that's where the connection is. And even though he's played for some great clubs afterwards, and that's what it's all about. And football is a family. It's just not just about the Premier League. It's about other leagues as well, non-league. They're suffering at the moment financially and everything like that. So, and when you see things like what Kevin's doing and all that, it's just great for fans. And as Kevin's always said, the fans have a voice now, and that's such a big thing. And hopefully, I do get it. This season they've got to get the season done without fans. But I think if they went into the following season without fans, I think it'd be a travesty. Because I think fans have, not as important as the players, obviously, but they're definitely up there. And if it weren't for the fans, Kevin will tell when you score goals, whether like Kevin's lucky he done it in front of thousands, I've done it in front of 10. You know what I mean? Like when you score and people are clapping and all that, there's nothing better than that. There's nothing better than that, and that is because the fans are there. So long live the fans.
I mean, if it can't be done safely without the fans, maybe don't do it at all. And,
that's how I do feel. I do feel like that, But TV changes everything, as we know. But you just look at it now on Sky and everything there, because the football's not on. There is a lot of people have lost interest in it, And if you're not going to have the fans, I think the fans, a good majority of them, will lose interest and do other things. And so they've got to be really careful. You've got to be careful.
Yeah. Well said, Lee. Andy, your son doing well? My son? She's 3 now, huh?
Apart from smashing me in the
Your
face
son.
with a toy,
You've got some front, you have.
you know.
This kid is 3 years old. I remember when he was born during the Sunderland game, right before the Chelsea FA Cup.
Yeah.
And now he's 3. He's almost as old as my son.
Yeah, 3 years old. He's aggressive. Hit me in the face with a toy. Broke my nose open.
It was an handbag, Andy. Handbag.
We did it. We were at 6s and 7s.
That's
And
right.
then we went into handbags.
When I actually have a scar on my forehead right here, 24 stitches from when I was about 9 months old. I was literally hit by a handbag at the grocery store and reopened a cut that I had from falling down the stairs, which I know you can't imagine. But yeah, handbags. Just feel bad for them that they couldn't take it home in the end. But what are you going to do, guys? It's been brilliant. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Absolutely loved it.
Pleasure.
Love you guys. Take care, and